Abusunya Kennedy akompre kwa Japan, Dr. Ya wasai Adutwum, Kwame Bafo Abronye, ene Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia, enyoma bi koso ewo Kennedy akompre kwa Japan. Na so ye ene nsem bi a eboboba a mepese ebeko ne akwa kotie.
Babani una banken. Beze o ka bibi kire no mame. Se amanfo be hye na bufuo pa.
Nokre.
Na Abronye de nya do wanted him eya. Do ba bi akasa na eya. But it's not in competition with Abronye. Ne di kwa grazo fi no. Eya pa. Ne di grazo fi no kra. Inti misramu ye ko animu no. Systematically. Help the way they grade comedy.
Me no ya dwena me da so sebio a photo dey obi here photo. So he's in right. And the good thing is that he's even watching the show.
Oh, okay.
But just a quick one. I agree. It's actually a lot of people hold Ken in higher standard than Abronye. I did Abronye be ya fan where you okay ya onye dey onfa honi. Because Abronye
on Abronye we no omon kana sem.
Entina
Ken dey so akokasa tie hia for all the hot na kwa.
And quickly just a context na ho no mo fidie dey kwache pa. Na me wo ho. One more day proposal or the truck cutter or big truck cutter man and no a party no some party panache glaucoma set in.
Okay.
You will sit down ya no untimi enya hoden ya dey emo so say obayare along the way.
Yeah.
To omo the cutter buy. To omo the cutter buy him say penifo we the man we need the man we need the man we. Omo pass ya na be do general secretary. And the general secretary the cutter the man can say hey ujanfo who dey say wadwuma ni e di kopesika ya dey emo papa no. To be carried at that time on 7,500 cedis.
Okay.
And why na Abronye incident near the ACM? In the context, near say, a brand new PC camo bino. We are also here. Many of the breme, by a Drew say a problem that do be at them there. When I hear from when I can go, assembly now. But who said, would you bufu a customer instead of hearing was here for?
Yeah.
And I got a voice that is also here for. But the context was not, who said, background now, man, Ubihan Tiasi so the dear here for United Atom. Where, in terms of Nipan lifestyle and the conduct, and what he stood for, why not Sebia Wabwa more broad or more money than Ken in MPP? Nobody. The list can go on. It's been a way of life. And if you want to also measure so much on Sir or Francis now. To be fair, the context has to be properly said, but I don't think say yeah DS so did here for it. And now go president do see talk about go here for them. Now go here for the door so get talk.
Of course, my minister we first one say son na PRO for the education ministry.
Yes, no correct.
Say now the young fan say educate the former education minister so team so person be the flag bearer for the MPP. Will you rescind your decision?
As a former boss.
And a former boss because one man wajuma. Ube Jack and Waka Yuma Diamano.
Hey, yes, once a soldier, always a soldier. Oh, no, never former boss, because I've said a boss. Papa.
Okay.
I think for me, my decision to support Keno is just anchored on one key principle. It has more to do with the missus say 2028 or what Akwanyanya Hoden so bet me win part in the general election. I am sure said Dr. Adutwum is a very fine person, just like Honorable Brian, other people are more expressive. Dr. Bawumia or Munina person moba. But Sebio, it has not more to do with you. You also have to listen to a form for. What to more say? Oh, sorry, almost say. Oh, more they care about the better day. Amano. Dr. Adutwum can win obviously with the party support, but within imprimprint, Sabre Mon, one also to say a form for who so about a day on Betomano. But aside that, say subsequently, no, say 2028, no, ba other Indian support in a opportunity. But imprimprint, there is a fine gentleman. Fantastic human being, Nejuma Bayo education. And see, Obi Amemetra radio so born Nejuma who the run. I should be the first person to believe in him. Of course. But within the current circumstance and current context, a collection I could lose 1.7 million. You want to say here somebody like Kennedy Agyapong. They say you I say prekese Obi Nimna who say then what should be to me.
The last question. Did religious affect the electoral fortunes in the 2024 elections?
Religion has seven hours a day. Oh, hey, I did Dr. Bawumia say affect. I see a report to say affected. But for me, look, I respect Dr. Bawumia's view. But this is what I'm saying. It's a very sensitive one to me. I quite a panic couldn't have and penny for set so I just used 2 minutes to answer. For me, I'll be surprised if Okwe report does not capture religion and ethnicity as factors that affected 2024 election. Not on any ill motive, but we are a people of religion. We are a people of culture. Dr. Bawumia crowd there didn't buy it. Young said banner just to prevent the whole target MPP account party. Was religiously and tribally motivated. Didn't like him say religion and tribe did not affect the election. Or mind with me, 2 bars mark 100. Emu 99 a bomb pie and send you 2 bars. We are people of religion. Kremoni Kwari Christian. Recently gave you a minute at them Christian. First, you catch them so you Christian. And that is a reality. We've only learned to live amongst each other. It does not necessarily mean say those religious friends say decisions, or when we are making decisions, we don't make records to those religious and ethnicity. You make it. You are too about 1592. They be a Santa region to main people, voter region to main this. What are you talking about? Say ethnicity affects your electoral outcome. It does. But the whole point are now Dr. Kase. What's that example? No, you a sense out, and I'm doing that briefly. Just a minute. What's a sense out? Or no, Muslim, no, OBT, Reverend Minister, or no, software in terms of the elections. But remember, just a brief analysis if you were. Where at every point, when you take the text out of the context, you only be discussing the pretext and not the text properly so called. I said, now I come confess with Laura, but I'm also more time, but I want to say, at every point, you should look at the dynamics present before you are able to do a holistic analysis of the course you the I sense out as a man independent candidate independent candidate we are in team for Joe no MPP no onu pulu 26.22%. In team for Joe pulu 39%. And independent candidate no also pulu 22.38%, right? Okay in Alboma. Now they compare Dr. Bawumia votes. Will you be able to make any fair or comprehensive or coherent analysis? If you want to compare, if you want to have a very holistic view or analysis of what really pertained there, you have to compare the presidential elections and the presidential results to that of the previous presidential election. I mean, presidential elections in 2016, GM 35.77%, Adom 62.22%. Now, 2024. Over 2024, GM 50.56%, DMB 46.68%. Into the DMB quite the compare another DMB so say 15.54%. And GM so the course 14.49%. But in London, what I just want to say is the independent candidates, now or a pro MPP guy, one move votes on me a day. That's how come you see Dr. Bawumia's votes being higher. But the Dr. Bawumia votes compared to the predecessor, President Kofi, the votes so rather 15%, and John votes rather went high by 14%. So you cannot use that as a test case to say, religion did not affect. We are a people of religion, a people of culture. All our decisions are born out of religion and ethnicity. Why do you say about the NDM? It plays a role. Okay. I beg to differ.
What is it that a good number of you, when I say you, Momo Binumoa, Baby Abasin Korean Shadam Humo, Binipa Binumoa, as you say, for be brave, crown abba, Binumodia, Momo Binu, Mamma, Manaka crown near there. But now a lot of people are coming on board. Why? What is it?
Say, I think say. Season behind the dynamics that plays out, and at every point they be a casa memo in a development. Say be a nipa as a tremor de akoyi na wanu etimako ano na say the Kofi sika the American dream no. We can also have a Ghanaian dream. Omaimu ha say be a bruyete. Oye young person na school, and I've read a lot of researches and statistics. But the nicest one, Pokre woman yet too scary, say, Nkora national service, say Kabi and Nkora national service in it will take a minimum of 10 years for half of that national service bar to get permanent employment. Not foreigners in their own country. The remaining half will still be searching for the next 10 years and so a permanent employment. Nkora school, I've read other researches, almost Nkora school, the state can only employ 2. How Now, all these are the basic challenges that we know as the people. And these are challenges nana me call GTV no more book clip be. Na kuwa esi na bia kotoka beba, champo beba, we beba. And you know, say the reasons they cited for those coups, are the same reasons you hear so nay and the trouble for. So the principle and the point I want to make is that our challenges as a people has always been the same. But the bigger vacuum intimacy of your challenges also has more to do with leadership. And so leadership counts, character counts. Now, Bribiano, your approach to building leaders to solve the basic challenges, i.e., unemployment, ebine jumso, ebine galamsey, healthcare, agriculture, no money adeno. Abribiano, ya den kofwa be a from say career politicians naba. And we started for solo mo bro Bible mo. Ohu akora no afa no apagya no wa kiss no nkofo wo ho nyina ne aboy nsama no. Oh, akowe de openkora sempa. And then minister na say bia MP na say mayor obey nhyehyɛ na ye recruit nkofo to maintain the bia gates no. Ono na one day wa sheda fa camera si ne so. No akogina gatem no atutu bi no atutire bi. Musa ho say let's put data on it. Gates na ye hu omo say bia obi a open position obomati o fufu o tu gatem no. Those one-off events na ya no has it been able to solve our problems as a country for us? And for me, if we want to really address the challenges of our country, career politicians, it looks like Obiaya the Bromo. And believe you me, people, the little hope or trust that them for politically exposed individuals no from. Let me give you a clear instance. Mr. Mahama, I've always insisted, say, Mr. Mahama's second coming, Ghanaians don't really have much expectation from him. Why? Because they feel, say, MPP amemono certain standard on moderate year to any expectation and no pay free MPP amemono yentimanya day amomosa. So for me, it is not the MPP which even lost, which even for example, it's not Mahama who even won the election, but has more to do with the MPP losing the election. So that to the average Ghanaian, no, in the absence of what we expect to be good, then we can even go for bad. Because it shows you how obia level of trust that people have in leadership in the Agyapong. So me, at the country particularly, midi Honorable Agyapong campaign has to do with character counts. Character and a defining leadership. And now me come off the back because what is the vision of Honorable Agyapong? I'm saying maybe a drone within the 21st century. We don't need vision again. We need leadership. Vision there. Me phone call Google. I can be able to type vision for a country. Yeah, but more be brainy. I can't no. Maybe a drone. We need that leadership trait. We need that leadership to transform Libya. We need that leadership to transform Botswana. We need that leadership to transform China, Malaysia, no other Singapore, no money. That is leadership counting. That is what I see in Honorable Agyapong. Of course, people have misinterpreted it. Yes, you or a temperamental. But Abibiano Sebio, I will not sit here and pretend it's Honorable Agyapong or a saint. No. Yes, I'll be very dishonest to myself and to Ghana. We have seemingly character traits. People will see some as weaknesses. People also will see some as strength. But it's about how you leverage it. The so esiha cap esiha near so guma. Who say half full. Who say half empty. So it depends on how you see it. Instead of me say me who temperament. Yeah, I agree. There are certain things they be because honorable check a crowd home, but they'll be passionate about the biano. One here they will be address at the corner. Obakacha so a temperamental.
Yeah.
Obia your that is a disciplined leader. But Krum Hana, or my word, I try him with you. Okay, why do you be here? Just say, so we need to leverage the character traits, the lifestyle. Bakufo Timi employ about 7,000 workers. Build steel industries, nurture tomato, a factory, a fruit factory, cold stores, and all the businesses are building. For me, I am of the view, say, baby, I don't know. You hear Nipasa. When you look at the lifestyle, what he stood for, normal what he criticize to be just what we criticize on one own party. We need somebody who is that disciplined within this present moment. Will be our hope and trust and confidence. Our politicians to lead us as a people.
Even though all you need is provoke Kent, and he will go haywire.
Well, and now I made a pronouncement on one of your sister stations, and I said, "Let Kent be Kent." And I always stand by it. Let Ken be Ken, which I say. say.
Also, you brought that phrase now.
Yes.
Afa ajibebia let can be ken. Let can be ken. No?
Yes. Yeah, because there is a history to that.
Okay.
Trump, Brana, the campaign manager, one more day, you know, the people, his campaign team felt that we need to change the guy. Now Trump will say, "Who can any can say that?" You know, Trump quite know is what the demand no money are there. Oh, Yabano conviction or sentence or it might be the president. But they realize say the leadership, you know, the every people get the leadership that it deserves, and that the leadership is the reflection of who the people are. Into unya leadership abribiano, akoye more or less like pentimento. Obuti, or Yanozo, Brennan Hwase, Ahombrasia Hine, incorruptible, Mahama is the hope, Wahweni, Obabanentesa. But our argument is that Uka temperamental, the other leaders that people also see as timid.
Yeah.
People see other leaders as timid. There are people who also see other leaders say, one crowd, you're manipulative, Buaha, Obiati manipulating. Me, yeah, last election. Yeah, one Kofi can say was the neighbor just to have control, which may not necessarily be so. These are normal, but we are timid that it may be a weakness, but also it can also be an opportunity. You be leveraging who so this guy is a calm person. Just like Honorable Ken. Whilst people see him as temperamental, maybe who say if we he's a human being in our character traits, obviously he will seek to build himself. But Mimi, who more or less like a bold and fearless and passionate leader. Abronye die yet Mikobi, I had the opportunity to be there half a day. A young man chairman on the papa no relationship. Far microphone for about 45 minutes. The deep upon a term can say ya. Me the ordinary expectation is Tanku, se mashiwa bufwa na minya na MC ordinarily no. And can we crack one for microphone in your day, Emma, whatever another person or for Nanka Muajo. You are a microphone question, Kenny a day, and so on, Casa. And the sad part is say, Abronye, yes, I know money in all leadership at all, Minu or train Yadwa, Obien who Timmy condemn way. Whilst you see him as temperamental, don't you also think, say, it's part of the Ghanaian value system, say, Obi at the end of Yam, penny for her, say, catch and say, Adio, any day. What I say, Ken may be so passionate about it and talk it in a certain way. Within the Ghanaian context or cultural context, people may not really appreciate it. Say, oh, Ghana, the Nkasem. But let me ask you, your cultural context, your katasubo mwaso empese normal, your beckon as how it is. In terms of educational transformation. And a building roads am I. A building hospitals am I. And then the more about to make of millions of dollars contracts here, but we get people defending him. Why? Because Ghana the Nkapeniasem. So for me, there are some times you need to call a spade. But I also agree that Nipa, just like all of us, say who leaders busy timid, they need to stand up. When people also view him as temperamental, whilst it can be construed as somebody who is so passionate, bold, and fearless, he also needs to work on himself as a human being.
Timidity and temperament, you think temperament is the best?
Well, I don't.
That is if it is so between timidity and temperament.
For me, I am of the view that the people of Ghana are more interested in what these two. I mean, without even putting names or faces to them, but I can speak for Honorable Ken. The people of Ghana are more interested in what he can do for them based on his lifestyle, what he stands for, and what he has stood for in the past. Somebody who ultimately challenging the party. Say, hey, look at this. Nipa, how many years now in politics? Has there been any tag of corruption on him for once? What I say? These are what the ordinary people of Ghana seeks. That pentimento style of leadership, Okova that boy di. Now me hear the video ba kuno Obama BBT. Obedi MP about say ni Onyatam. Me hu nkofo abra no mpepo zo mkwatsa oni nipa di bayire. Na wo gwamtanko. Are you more interested in the oni ubedi bayire and the obejo ma healthcare? We need to, as a people, be conscious of that reality. Say your politics, you move away from that manipulative politics. Within a certain context, for harmonious living and harmonious building, obviously from no church, it's symbolic. Now, be a mind for communal labor, but withdraw to do that. wo won seseye the sika ya fa workers ya yese ya who here MP no akote gatem no me who say all these developed countries and advanced countries are see emulating no who say Trump and say na David Cameron or na Putin et gatem no it's a failure and we don't need to admit that as leadership a systemic failure ya Adutwum say my muhano and then the leadership ezo asumdwe hene asumdwe beba obeba so na bokone conflict that so but ezo asumdwe Brandon our you see the template that we have been using to select our presidents has more to do with PR inclined than the reality that we face. That's why I'm saying that let Ken be Ken, let the guy be himself.
As an ordinary Ghanaian, I be a baby. What is different about what me but say Ken becoming a president? What's going to be different? What can template be a Ghana hire you for so long?
MY.
So what is going to be different with Ken?
That's why I say if you want development, one, leadership counts. And if you want leadership, true leadership, character counts. Character is everything. So now character counts, yeah, Kessi say you should look at Nipano, the hallmark or the trademark of him. Say me not here. One thing we cannot all deny and say yes, Ken you're no nonsense person. And just add here as on my or Maya need to jump at traffic, to buy a Land Cruiser. Uti ani ye kura police force abi gina watia bra wo webu emraso no. Why? Because obi e yibi. Sana etie wa ha. You need character, you need leadership, you need somebody who can look into everybody's face and say, even if the whole country say, Sada ye Adutwum only on your day, on into nemretia. Character, leadership counts. What about the lifestyle and the life situation? What does it stand for? Me, I gave you a statistics. Nkore we school. Half of that national service batch we school. Averagely, you are looking at about 150 to 200,000 every year. Universities, including the private universities, will graduate. It will take a minimum of 10 years for half of that batch to get permanent employment. The other half will still be searching. If you want to break it down, Nkore school be a NIPA 12 be a, the state can only recruit 2. And I'm a young person. Me who say my future is very bleak. People are living American dream, but I cannot even live my own dream in my own country. To the extent to say, they are not foreigners in their own country. A government comes in and he says that your first love letter is dismissal letter. We are 4 years, 5 years, 8 years, 7 years, averagely. And no be the ejuma. Me and me politically exposed. I mean, me and 3 years old. So the situation is very scary that if you ask me, can the campaign team should save Ghana? Because situations like this, you need somebody the lifestyle at his own private level in terms of the biggest challenge and the biggest problem I can't want some, which has to do with the unemployment and the lifestyle. What has it been about it? And then your campaign your campaign has always been more general into any individual base and affecting individual life. And until na baby MPP Becca free SHS, one district, one factory, one village, one dam. But you see, you could see interchange. AC East Legon. Now we commission, now video, now Santifo in share. The average person no take cocoa farm interchange who so far so. So it's about the time our discussions about politics should be more individual centered. Yam building the individual lives. Creating Numa, Memu and crying a binya day, and no one binya also and talk also could see interchange on what the car of fire day, or who's on fast. So for me, that's what I believe Ken stands for. That aspect of FIMA, ETB building any panel, building the human capacity and Manibibino. And his lifestyle has demonstrated as at now. The Juma Webieno has been able to recruit 7,000 people. The mindset now has to do with entrepreneurship. Believe you me, what the Maken and Manon can say, or the entrepreneurship alone, be revolutionize Ghana to cause change. Now will be Abrabomu any Abrabomu year. And now Unya Bibi and Sakua no Timisha or Yerenoma. That is where the evolution of development can start from. So for me, I believe that beyond his lifestyle, Sebia Wabobra, in terms of the entrepreneurship skills, now everybody the character traits what he stands for. No nonsense, man, disciplinarian, patriotic. Same way say I am of the view say if you would net and when he had compare all other people a boy. And finally, even as an MPP, we need him. Senya Ken pa, let's be very honest, and I'm very mindful here because
na me ba de do what na me kon say
yes
omo amene omo akasa ebia to be catch me say it is easier for Ken to become a president than for him to become the flag bearer of the new patriotic party. Why is it so?
I think context is also very important, and the context is that what they compare previously. Na abayin woha, it looks like Dr. Bawumia had more acceptability with the establishment than
the
incumbency advantage. So a vice president, he had more access to ordinarily, it was more or less like he had a very good system in terms of how the electoral system college to win.
It's not like that now.
It's not like that now because they say because I mean, how could you have an election previously? All 137 MP support one candidate. I mean, there is I wouldn't say it's questionable, but is intriguing. How can we have an election at all DC is at 260? Constituency yes, 267 constituencies. So to say no 237. All 237 constituencies. DC be a support to one candidate, or appointee be a support to one candidate. It means that, well, at that time people felt Dr. Bawumia, but of course with the electoral outcome, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people may want to amend their position. For me, I think right now is the reverse. The reverse is however true. I've met a lot of people almost some the can by the better day. I feel he has a very brighter chance of winning the primaries and even both the general elections.
Should there be changes to new patriotic party? Said more constitution any other because there have been number of course. Say you support that idea?
Oh, certainly. I mean, situation warrants its own response. And so that idea be any penny na be who say it depends on how you look at it. When you take advantage of it, a bit we see jina pen we loss you buy amaya ankasa ye tu ye ho for asua ye ho no ma bebre. And part of the opese mo kam ho bo mu sa edense san e ba na who say you've rebranded, you've learned and those things. There are a lot of things that you also have to change. And one of them also has to do with the constitution. I think there's been proposal first of all ye court tono. Honorable Ken make a proposal say one obia ye in a free party ni mobia whether on the from party whether party the from the info behind the emra back. That's the amnesty bit. And there's also a lot of proposals about opening up the electoral college because you say and no one before na nkofo so ediginal so it's one of the reasons nkofo so ediginal so mo nkoto abano. So those reforms, those proposals is in order. Now, at the end of the day, just we have to get expansion and get everybody to participate or involve. And that, for me, reflects the true essence of democracy. No, it's in right order.
Unity of party.
Oh, yes.
Unity.
Now, question I was saying, what to be that you see and tomorrow go about
there's something. Me Ken. Say once in my entire Adutwum. Now, Franco will tell you, I like him. I've said it. Me my radio, so I can. And I'm that person that oya DNA ya me can be ona ntwe ya me can. Party nyama mu ye.
Adom say be bro ya to abawia. But voice was not,
of course.
And he almost like I said, so a tima and a be a match. I'm sure says I been a people may also see it as derogatory other than match or kaka, but within the context and then can mind the entry. And they say when you lose elections, our assumptions looks true. When a year say, but medium UGD say it's an invitation for all of us to regroup, re-strategize. Na the who here say and fire home and phone so chair home. A baby Abeka say any party me a party bonnet, a party to me any pie day, a bonnet. And he now thank you to I start here honorable Ken also a mobile amnesty unity. Not about me and also chebi unity in near Kabom. Usually in people when there is a sense of direction and there is a leader, I feel also be the airline. In with time. Titua ye thank you to you pulley out me kase I'm referring to honorable Ken team. But na the question also no na ihunu say one more accounts bit my day atwaso ayo pepe. But at the end of the day, thank you to a series of activities, a better police station elections, a budget party for Adronye, a better Congress, a better approval, a better say, you can't in a boom, you need a leader. Media Mrs. say, Asumje, a better. That's the same class from Joe. As soon as you let we are not, we are
understandable. Yeah. From the word go, thank you, Toy, because opinions will bring the free party more. Abba for charging. Was it a good one?
Yeah, it was. It was. Just say it's a neck decision. Now, one say one more highest decision making body of the party, yeah. And Osha there have been precedents to it. History. One more Omonya Kwenya Kwart, Flabera, and even presidential candidates in Yinano.
Yeah,
this is not the first time. And to be very honest and to be fair. Ordinarily, it should have even been Dr. Bawumia's thank you to because one of the ballot paper.
Of course.
Just that this year now a quiet novel. And one more say other candidates or more call prime minister enjoying it. So if you look at the motive and the intention, they are not and for so be anything. But that way nipa ho ade. Na when was akunya to nipa ade epre. Politicians say they more kwanya bia with any least opportunity bia no.
Take advantage.
They want to take advantage, market themselves, do the politics of it. And also na bia no afenu bi obi so any interest bia. A lot of times we are the main actors, no?
Of course.
The main politicians na HD4. Sometimes people in their attempt to show so much loyalty and love to their candidate, no, was over passionate. Na no maybe wo hokra na ese e fancy na akochia. Ndi nipa ho adwuma and also the BCC. But overall, I think people made their comments and their opinions. ABC calling it off. ABC tension come too much. ABC be no back off with who so the marketing ho based on comments about ABC how the discuss platform. But if you look at the overall motive there, at least symbolically, no, it's good to say only the partners we are a year juma a book so where they kodoma say. As to be the teacher man or the anti man, we just have to take responsibility and move on. The only expectation I may penny say when you talk about thank you, they be say we are a people of culture, we are people of values. Abribia yeti wasi the nim kwa fa so ye de ete. Eka thank you to and commitment as say okwa obedas the edikai. Be a normal uncle you take responsibility for it as a leader. To that cry to me say as some going say fenu asem ko yesi etim ba ko for me say penny o to metumi na ye dey esiso. Na what stress say the SC be a chair be a fire born enya dey ye ho encheche ye ho na ye move on. Ordinarily that was what I felt should have been the key variables in the thank you to or the template that we will use in the thank you to. But I don't want to blame anyone, but politicians, the politician be our platform. Who's a year since the campaign?
Of course.
To the sense that by you mobilizing them, don't do much here. How our fans was running at those are, I mean, no my count. But at some point, you drew commercial. Honorable Ken felt to say the continuous presence in the thank you tone. Be so much tension because, like I admit, Dr. Bawumia na say any thank you tone. The other candidates are coming now, or supporters who they say, oh. Also, they have to also give you shine. But I also believe you said no, you don't have to steal anybody's shine within the context of event. Na at the tension near there, rightfully you pull out and allow the process to continue.
I see. I think that explanation, Ghana need be and I think it was timely. Time nearby, no?
Yes.
Nah. Okay, sir.